Alright, so spawning down here in the bottom right hand corner, we have playing for Team XT. In the green, we have BuildingS. Last week, did a lot of damage. Let's see how he plays this week. Up here in the top left hand corner, playing for Team Elite. In the blue, as Protoss, we have Angelwrath. I'm trying to think as far as what Angelwrath has put up as far as results. I think he's won one of his games and he lost the other one. I can't remember. So we'll have to see how he plays as well. You guys should definitely give me feedback on the UI. Spent a lot of time messing with it, making it look cool. I'm not sure what they're talking about because I haven't been on Reddit today for StarCraft. So we'll have to see. I'll probably check that out between games coming up because I'm actually interested in to see what they're talking about. But so far, nothing crazy out of either side. It's kind of weird to have 3 drones a little bit, but means his overload is probably a little bit delayed. But yeah, nothing too crazy going on so far. Kind of weird to have the gateways in the back, but I mean, if you're not going to expand out in front, I don't know. It is a little bit odd, but I'm not exactly sure what his game plan is based off of that. Spawning pool going down. The 1 HP getaway drone. Look at him sprinting back across the map. Swag. He just hashtagged it. Man, chat, be more lively. Let's go. Come on. Alright, so pylon. Where's the cybernetics core? There it is. Alright. So far, everything pretty well in line here. Nothing crazy at all. Keep in mind you can see the worker counts down here now with this new UI. So that's pretty sweet. He's pulled out of gas, so he was just getting enough for speed, which is going down right now. He hasn't worked on expanding yet, which is a little interesting. He starts a queen before he starts his expansion. I'm not really sure what his game plan is. I mean, he has 6lings on the way, which is abnormal. So it feels like he kind of wants to bum rush it, but I don't know. Maybe he's just being really cautious. Maybe he's worried. I'm not sure. He did only see 1 gas going down, which is a little concerning these days for Zerg if they don't see an expansion, which he's waiting to see if he sees it now. He sees the Zealot moving down the ramp. Alright, he sees the Nexus going down, so he's like, oh, okay, cool. He may actually just take his next base after this. Zealot moving across the map. It's actually in a little bit of a position to get surrounded. Which is, oh, Zealot's getting a free hit on one of those lings. They're going to need to back up. They're not going to be able to fight 2 Zealots plus a Mothership Core. They couldn't even fight 2 Zealots unless their micro was impeccable. But as it is, they're going to try and pick off this probe, and they do get him. Alright. Overall, not a wasted mission. Now these lings trying to scramble to stay alive, but one of them is going to get picked off. Mothership Core getting that. More lings heading across the field. They now have speed. If they play it right, they could technically run up into the main. There should be a little bit of a gap, actually. Looks like they're just going to harass this expansion a little bit. They're probably not going to be able to get much done on that. I'd probably try for the run by. Another ling going down. Looks like these remaining 6 are going to work on this pylon a little bit. Maybe commit to killing it. Lots of lings just flooding across the field, so it looks like that's what he's going to try and commit to. There's actually, the sentry isn't out yet, so he's going to try and deny this expansion. He causes a cancel. It's a really good position for him. Now he's going to back off, and he's going to need to drone since he didn't go for the run by. Or, you know, the bottleneck, try and break through 2 Zealots, which he definitely could have. Rock's being worked down because he knows it's going to be a little bit of a micro battle going on right there, and he doesn't want to misclick. But now with the sentry up, he should be totally safe. So I can't imagine he would be committing into the ramp now. There is still only 1 gateway, though, which he doesn't know, that he could probably just slowly overwhelm. And there isn't really, you know, as far as defensive stuff, you know, he has 1 Spore Crawler back at home. Seems like he's a little bit worried. He's putting one in each line. He's worried about an Oracle heading out across the map here and just dealing a bunch of damage. So, I mean, when you're ahead, you may as well be cautious, right? I mean, there's no point throwing away a lead for nothing. And we have double Evo Chamber going down here. Double Evo Chamber off of 2 bases is pretty interesting. It says, no probe, you are not going to sneak out and start up a Nexus. Just going to repeatedly deny that. And that's, of course, the weakness of these gateway expands, is you can't really do anything if the Zerg player decides to go Ling speed. It's pretty difficult. You have to get your wall up here really early in order to be able to do anything about it. Oh, we just lured everything out of position. There's some zealots up on the high ground, though. That's a trap. He's going to back away. He delayed that expansion for long enough. He should be set. This is when he needs to move overlords into position to get ready to scout. He sees the expansion going down, so he knows it's not necessarily an all-in follow-up. Ling's moving up. They're going to try and cancel it again, and they should be able to. It's just a question of how many of these he wants to sacrifice. Cancel does go down. Ling's getting force fielded in a little bit there. They're going to engage onto the Stalkers and Sentries. They actually don't get any kills there. They did get a Stalker very, very low, and a Sentry almost got killed. Not quite. Now there's an Overlord that's going to die for free if he decides to move over there with the Stalkers. There's actually 2 Overlords that are in pretty high danger here. Alright, good. He's going to move back. He needs to move an Overlord up here to, you know, scout into the main, maybe convert it into an Overseer. He still hasn't actually started Lair. So he's pretty low on tech for the situation that he's in, though he does have a very good worker lead, as you see down here. So he's going to try and take advantage of that to, you know, lead it into a win. We'll have to see if there's any type of play that Angelwrath can make for Team Elite to try and bring him back into this game. Looks like he's going to maybe move over and start his 3rd. That's pretty ambitious. He would actually be starting at pretty much the same time as the Zerg player. He's banking a bit of minerals. I mean, he could definitely do so. Okay, yeah, looks like he's moving down. But he's not actually starting the expansion. He spent minerals, warped in some zealots or something. We have a robotics bay going down. We have Lings working on this 3rd over here. Well, I guess it would be a 4th in this situation here for XT buildings. And we got 1-1 over here finishing up for our Zerg player. And we have really no... I mean, we have +1 started here for the Protoss, but he's definitely in a really difficult position to come back from. Though the drone count actually hasn't shot up at all. And he's not really... I mean, he's a little bit droning behind it, but really not that much for Zerg. He could really be powering and, you know, maxing out on this 3rd right now, getting ready to move into the mid-late game, I guess I would say. The later part of the mid-game. It's not quite to the late game at all so far. And we have the 4th started up down there. It is just now finished. A Spire is going along. We have a lot of Lings over here. They're not really going to be able to do much. I'm not sure if he's going to try and bait force fields, knock down rocks. Not really sure what he's doing with this Ling first over here. They're only 1-1. Their 2-2 has started. There's Colossus coming out here for Angelwrath, though, so he's going to be able to counter it pretty easily once that Colossus gets out. It's going to halt the Ling aggression for quite a while until Ultralisk get out on the field. There is a Spire. It's about to finish, and will he be moving into Mutas, or will he be building some Corruptors, going into Hive? Let's see what he's going to be doing here. I'm actually kind of interested. It's weird because the Infestation Pit hasn't gone down, so normally you would see when you're upgrading melee attack that you'd be going into Ultras, but this might even be Broodlords with the current tech, and he might just be sticking on Lings for a little while until he picks up a 5th base or something. I'm not sure. I haven't seen this really. I mean, there is the 2-2 into Ultras, but okay, yeah, there it is, the Mutas. That makes the most sense in this situation, and the +1 started for them as well. So these Mutas, if they get in there and pick off the Colossus and the 3 Sentries, which really wouldn't be too hard to do considering how clumped they are, it's pretty much game over pretty quickly. So you have to be really, really careful in these situations. You want to keep your Stalkers being able to deny as much information about position, pick off as many Lings as possible, because as soon as that Colossus goes down, these Lings are going to have a field day. Which, by the way, I do miss field day. I don't know if you had it at your elementary school. It was a day of just playing games outside. under that bright day star that so many of us avoid as adults, working in offices and playing video games all the time. But it was fun then. Alright, so this number of mutas can actually almost take on this number of stalkers. The issue here is that the mutas +1 hasn't finished. The stalkers do have +1. Blink is started up, Templar Archives are started up, which is definitely what you want to do. Storm is the counter to both Lings and mutas, so that's a very good choice. Issue being he just invested really heavily in the Colossus tech, and his third just got up, so he's pretty starved as far as stuff goes right now. As far as resources, I mean, we see him floating a bit of gas. He's going to be able to make Templars right when they come out. But as far as tech spread outness, he has, you know, the Colossus who actually haven't researched range at all. So it looks like he's probably just going to give up and let that be the only Colossus and go straight into Templars, which is the best choice. Muta's trying to work it down a little bit. They're really just trying to keep him hemmed in, make sure he can't move out in any weird capacity, and try and move towards a fourth. And there are cannons in the mineral lines, but that number of mutas is going to kill cannons pretty fast. They have to be really careful, though. That's a decent amount of stalkers, and they're going to need to back up. +2 actually hasn't started for the stalkers at all, though. So now the mutas are on the same upgrades. So this is a really advantageous... Oh, wow, he's going to pick off that Colossus. The one Colossus out on the field is going to go down. And 2 of the sentries did die, so now there's only 1 sentry left. Though it does have full energy. It has enough for quite a few force fields. Looks like gateways and a cannon are going to go up to try and defend this. Lings are going to try and sprint in, though. And there's not a lot of force fields. There's 2. But now he's just segmented himself off from defending this third base, which is going to fall pretty quickly. These 2/2 Lings are going to just rip it apart, as well as the +1 mutas. So now the Protoss is in a very, very bad situation. There were some Templars morphing up on the high ground into Archons after they got discovered, but they all die, and this game looks like it's definitely going to be going into XT's win column for game number 1. We'll have to see if... No, I don't think Angelwrath can come back at all. He has nothing building. There's 32 mutas, I'm sorry, 32 Lings. 32 mutas would be ridiculous. 32 Lings on the way. Storm got canceled because it did get picked off over there, and actually, no, it didn't get picked off. He just canceled it. Did he never start it? Oh my gosh, what a mistake. Man, that's brutal. Okay, well, the Hive did finish. Adrenal Glands is on the way. +2 is coming down for these mutas. And there's macro hatches going down everywhere. XT is just in a fantastic situation. He has his 5th base up here at the top that just finished. And in the meantime, the 3rd did get denied for Angelwrath right after it got up. It wasn't saturated or anything, so it didn't really lose probes per se, but it's 83 drones versus 39 probes. There's just not really any way, and even the Lings sprinting by once that one Zealot did get picked off. The Templars were saved. They are morphing, but I don't really think they're going to be saved for that long. They're going to pop out and deal a decent amount of damage to these Lings, though, who are now dancing. Break it down as they are stomping through the rest of this army, and it's just a matter of waiting for him to tap out at this point. GG though, and game 1 is going to be going to XT. Okay, so now we're going to move into game 2. Keep in mind this is a best of 9 series, which means my voice will die, but it does mean that a team has to take 5 wins for the series to end, and we're going to be moving into game number 2.